Hello and welcome to Trekkie and Beyond, a Star Trek podcast. I'm Anika.
And I'm Andrea, and welcome to episode 7 of season 4 of Discovery, But to Connect. Or as it should be called, which is the running series for this season, is, I'll say this, half smart people making dumb decisions. And stop trusting a computer with emotions. That's what this episode should be called. Because tensions are arise as representatives from across the galaxy are coming to the Starfleet headquarters to basically discuss this DMA, the dark matter anomaly. And no one is agreeing on anything because when do politicians do? And Zora has something stuck up her computer butt because what the heck is going on with her? You don't get to decide. You don't want to follow orders. But there's a lot going on this episode, and a lot of it was stupidity. But Monica, what was your initial reaction?
Okay, so before we dive into Zora, I would like to also mention that this is interesting. There's like a rift between a power couple, and that's very clear at the end. And I'm worried about that. I really like Michael and Book. And I think he helps her feel like, I don't want to say avoid, but she has difficulties, and he has like he helps balance that. And I think she also brings a lot to the table for him. So I like seeing the two of them as a power couple, and I don't know if that's going to persist. I don't. It's not looking so good for them. But there's another relationship that's blossoming. So I'm a romantic. So maybe there's something, especially now that there's blossoming possibly between the president of VAR and Saru. So I thought that was a very cute gesture. Outside of everything else that's going on, that's the positive stuff that I could find in this, this episode. What did you think about the episode and Zora?
I hate Zora. I because Paul is right. This could turn into a whole nother thing of control if she decides she doesn't want to listen. Oh, yeah. Regardless of whatever fluffy sort of answer they may come up with, this is stupid to trust her. They should have just gone. She's done. Bye-bye. Because she's not a living thing. She is a computer program. Yeah. Two, in regards to the power couple, it's so interesting because this is exactly what Michael did in the first two seasons. This is exactly how she acted. How Book is handling the situation is exactly how Michael handled season 1. And the only difference is that she doesn't agree with his, like, because if she agreed with him, she would have been gung-ho. And it comes down to their disagreement. So because she believes she's right, he's wrong, instead of it being a difference of opinion, and vice versa. And because he's still really raw and he's still really like angry. And I will say her analogy was great. But I hope this isn't the reason they break up. Because if they ever, like, because relationships could end for anything. But I hope it's not that they can't get past a difference of opinion, because then that sort of means they were never really a good relationship to begin with. So I hope that this is not the end of their relationship of like, oh, you're disagreeing with me, I'm disagreeing with you, we're over. I'm like, no, y'all just both immature if that's the end of this relationship. So overall, I did not really like this episode, mostly because of Zora.
Yeah.
Like literally mostly because of Zora. It was stop caring for a computer. Stop it.
I can say that of all of the episodes this season, this is by far the one in which I wanted to watch the next episode immediately after, because I felt like it left me with a cliffhanger with Book leaving. Like, so that cliffhanger and everything that's going on, like, it lured me in. But I don't like what they're building up. I'm hoping this will, morph into something better, and I'll look back at this and think about, oh, I understand why now. But
I understand why he's doing it. But we'll get into it because it's regardless if he's right or wrong, I feel like either we're going to get into the deep dive. Let me not jump ahead because this is all conversation that we can have as we go further into the episode.
Yeah.
So basically, in this entire episode, as I stated in the little quick recap, all of the different representatives from all around the galaxy, from the 4 quadrants, are coming to discuss what to do with this dark matter anomaly. And some people want to do a peaceful first contact, and some people want to, Earth, want to just jump in and be like, shoot first, ask questions later, because of what the dark matter anomaly has done. And Michael does sort of bring up a good point. We don't know if their intention was evil. And she does examples of different animals that destroy stuff as part of their life cycle, but their intention isn't destruction, it's survival. And they don't really mean to hurt anyone. And that could be said about like birds eating worms. Like, we're not going to sit there and destroy all birds because they're killing worms for their survival. It's something that's just done. And no one's doing it out of evil. Like, I'm going to kill that worm because I hate it. Like, there's none of that. And that is a really good point, because we don't know what is causing the DMA. We don't know if it's intentional. We don't know if they're like, oh, this is a little speck. I mean, we thought we were just cleaning up some dirt, and it was really like billions of lives. So it's a good point. But at the same time, we have Earth, go Earth, shoot first, ask questions later. Who's like, it doesn't matter. They killed people. They can kill us. We should attack. And here's the stupidity that comes with that is, if they can destroy an entire planet by accident, what do you think they can do on purpose, honey?
Yes, that's what I was thinking too.
So what did you think of all of their conversations and like their back and forth with the representatives?
Oh my goodness, where do I start? So I love seeing the representatives, the diversity and species at the assembly. So that was really cool shot. I saw the butterfly people again, and a lot of other species I haven't seen before a while, and some newbies. But it's interesting what happens when a general of Earth attends a diplomacy and strategy meeting compared to like the president of our. And I possibly, if it was the president of Earth, maybe there would have been a different decision. Hopefully they seeked out counsel and they talked it all through. But we've seen that Earth has been very protective before and wanted to shoot first and ask questions later.
Side note, before you get too far, you made mention of their leadership, and the general was not happy. It doesn't seem like the general was happy with their new leadership. Because she says now Earth represents Titan too, as well. Right. And she did not seem happy about that. Because she said the new leadership was a little bit more lenient.
Right.
So it makes me wonder, was the general giving Earth's opinion or hers?
I wonder about that too. And that's why I was mentioning it. I'm glad that Titans joined them though, because they were shunned out, even though they were hungry and fighting for food and water. But it just seems as though Michael was carrying her experience of xenoanthropology to her speeches and to her research, and she had worked in a different time. So she's used to more structured federation, the Prime Directive. And I don't think that this federation is as connected to Prime Directive because if that's supposed to be standard, hence Prime Directive, that's what you should follow first. And then you shouldn't have to vote. But it seems as though in this time, 930 years in the future, things have changed a little bit and they're not following it. And maybe it's also because the academy wasn't as formal and didn't persist. And there is like lots of the burn changed the way that they were looking at alliances and partnerships. This is the first time they've gotten together in a long time since the burn. So yeah, definitely the federation that's in this time is not the same as what we know and love.
Yeah, this federation is very much more wartime. This one is hardened. This one has seen so much more shoot first, ask questions later mentality. And is definitely represented in the way that they respond to perceived threats. Because with Michael's analogy, we don't really know if this is a threat anymore. And if they turn it to, well, this is an accident, I swear to God, I'm going to be so upset. Like, at this point, they put this up, they build this up so high, this can't be an accident. Because if this is an accident again, I'm gonna flip my computer.
Right. And I've always been cautious of Tarek, and I'm even more concerned about him now, especially his motive for doing all of this is so selfish, so that he can go to his universe and be with his science bud. Like, come on, dude.
Okay, so let's talk about this one. So basically, as Monica's alluding to, so Tarek comes and he's like, I have a plan to end all of this. And it seems too good to be true. And it really is. He's like, we're going to have a bomb. We're going to have Discovery jump us in, release the bomb, and Discovery jump us out. And first of all, here's the issue with this. Didn't we already learn that Discovery can't jump out once they're in? Like, so one, how is that going to work? Two, as Michael points out, this is an isotopic bomb, which basically is like their nuclear bomb in space that could destroy anything. And granted, in space, there's no like borders. There's no visible borders in space. And so while your computer might be like, okay, we can't go into this part of space because they released a bomb and now we can't warp through here. Why? Dude, like, your motives are so selfish. And you didn't even tell them it was that isotopic type of bomb. You just say, I have a bomb, it's gonna go in, it's gonna blow everything, destroy everything, and then Discovery's going to leave, and that's gonna be it. And so I knew I didn't like him in the beginning, and I very much don't like him now.
Yeah, I don't think that he cares if Discovery can jump out. As long as he can fulfill his mission, I think he feels like he's good. Plus, who invited him to the discussion, to the party? He's not a diplomat. He hasn't really tested this research. He like beamed his way to the very top of like the podium, the speaking area to present. And I feel like that's like pushing your way up on the stage to present, and then took over the presentation to show his demonstration. But he also glanced over a lot of details. It's one of those, salespeople that talk really fast but don't have a lot of details. I'm always a little suspect of that. And it seemed like he had something to prove with Book. Like he was like, I'm using this as my moment. And so I don't think he has the whole universe at heart.
I don't think it's that he wants to prove something to Book. I think he's manipulating Book.
Yes.
Because I feel like if there was anyone else in Book's position, he would be doing the exact same thing, playing on their anger and their fears. Because here's the thing. This bomb is going to get him to where he wants to go. This is not going to do anything for Book at all. You could destroy the dark matter anomaly, but you still don't know where it came from. You still don't know who did it. And it's not going to bring anyone back. So your Book, like, you think vengeance is what you need, it's not going to do anything. Because until you actually have answers, which you won't if you just destroy something outright, you never know. It could come right back and do something else in someone else's world. And then you're responsible for that because you didn't stop to think outside yourself. And he's manipulating Book, and Book's not seeing the bigger picture, which, for once, Michael is speaking the truth. Let's figure out what's going on. And then if we need to do the bomb, we have the bomb. But like, let's figure out if one they intended to hurt us. And if that's their intention, now we know we're at war. But also, do we really want to go to war with someone who destroyed a planet on accident?
Right.
That's what they're not getting. Like, Book, they destroyed it could have been they destroyed your planet on an accident. Do you want them to destroy other planets on purpose?
Right. And Tarek's plan is to blow up the DMA. Right. But that doesn't solve your problem.
It doesn't.
Because there's a species that created it, so they could create another. Or it could be out of their hands, far as we know. So it just, and we found out that it moves. So who's to say it's going to be in that spot for very long?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to take 5 seconds as he stated, but
I also, from his own very words, I don't believe he cares if something else comes back. He just wants to use it as a power jump to get to the next dimension. And Book is too emotional to see that he's being manipulated.
yes, I agree. I'm glad, though, that the president of the Federation gave him a chance to speak in front of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that is similar to when there's a school shooting or something else, and then we give the opportunity for a parent or another spokesperson to speak on behalf of the lives that were lost. It's different for all the other members of the Federation who hasn't been as touched by this as Book has. So I was proud of that moment. I like that a lot. It seemed like no one else wanted to speak up on the other half, except for the president was leaning towards Michael to speak about peace and the Prime Directive. I'm disappointed at the president of the Federation.
This also sort of answers our question of, is there any other Quaijans? Because no one else was there to speak on behalf of Quaijan. They're only taking Book's perspective into it. And so that tells me there's no, like, he literally, again, is like the last one. And that's sort of interesting as well, because I would think you would want to get multiple views from the home planet that was destroyed. And then it goes into, that Michael ends up being the one who has to speak out against what Book wants to do, which again is very interesting because we all know the Michael that they have like set up is the Michael who acts first and thinks about the consequences later. And we've seen this in season 1, 2, and part of season 3. And so to see that she is, to see that this one is, or actually all 4 seasons, 3 seasons, who won the 4th one. We see that she is finally sort of maybe, okay, let's think first and act. And she's always think first, then act when it's other people, but when it's herself, it's act first, then think. And this is the one time where I'm like, look, honey, you're actually correct. Like, let's figure out what's happening. And I think what Book was missing and what she failed to also explain is, or maybe no, she did explain it. Let's figure out what we're dealing with first.
Yeah.
And then act with the correct information, which is what they're supposed to do. And I think for Book, it's like, well, if they were peaceful, we're not going to attack them. But why would we? Like, you should not. I get that millions of people died, but that was never their intent in the first place. And it was a complete and utter accident, which it better not be, because I swear to gosh, it's Star Trek. If this is what you go down, I'm gonna be really upset. You need to know all the factors. Because again, if they made this on accident, you can't go to war with these people. You're going to lose. In the very beginning of that episode, we see that Zora has the location of where the DMA originated. And instead of telling everyone where it is, she's like, I'm not going to do that. Well, why? Because then you're going to want to go. And I don't want y'all to get hurt. That's not up to you. That is not up to you. And then you're defying direct orders. You don't want to listen to people. You change your prime directive was to care for the crew. That's not your prime directive. You get all this sappy bull crap about subconscious and memories with the crew. Bull crap. You are a computer. You are a computer. And I don't care, Adira and Gray trying to fight for something you don't understand. You don't get it. You have never lived in a world where a computer tried to kill you and killed dozens, scores of Section 31 and admirals and so many people of their friends. You didn't see what Control was trying to do. And that Control didn't even have feelings. It just wanted to wipe everyone out. You didn't see it. Paul is correct in his initial assessment. We got to get rid of it. This whole, you're a new being and you want to join Starfleet. No. That entire part was stupid. And I hate it, and I do not respect Zora. She better sacrifice herself at the end of this episode to save the crew, because I'm just, end of the season or whatever, because I'm just over her. So let's talk about it. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I did not like this Zora plot line at all. The assembly, I'm with it. I was able to flow with that. This is crazy in multiple ways, because Zora could have a Trojan horse. How do you know what how Zora's feelings will change every day? And if she's really looking out for the best interest, she should follow the Federation, because there's things that she might not know, and the Federation's looking out for the best interest of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Zora's just focused on the ship, as we realize, just the crew on the ship, not the overall mission of the Federation. So it's not your call, Zora. This is not your call. And you need to know your place. And your place is just to communicate the facts, just to make the calculations, just to answer the questions, not to classify, censor information. Not your job, not your role.
And Gray and Adira, sit your little tiny behinds down, because you do not get a say in this. You do not. We want to speak on behalf of Zora. No. Do you know why? Zora is supposed to be a computer. That's it. It's words do not explain to me. Words do not explain the aggravation I had with this storyline. With Hugh, with Saru, with everyone just sort of accepting the possibility, wanted to shrink the ship, wanted to let's get to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is that this computer is thinking for itself, and it's not supposed to. Paul, your cynic self was correct, Paul. Like, you were a cynic in the very beginning, and I needed that energy to stay throughout this entire episode. I didn't want this whole, oh, do you want to join Starfleet? What is this? No, because she's already a part of Starfleet. And you already seen she disobeyed orders. Why would you want that a part of Starfleet? Why would you want why would you? Is she going to be an ensign now on the computer?
Well, Data had to go through the academy. Then she needs to go through the academy then.
Data also had a physical form.
Right. So she needs to take on us in a physical state like Gray, and go through the academy, and
have limited access to stuff. That have access to everyone's life.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. I don't like that. But my thing about it is that, like, there's certain things that you learn, they're supposed to learn in the academy. I don't know if it's still being taught, but like the Herberachi Maru. And so about making choices and weighing the good of many over the good, sacrificing a few for the many. Mm-hmm. And other things like that. Like, she hasn't gone through any of that. I don't even like calling Zora a she. I was concerned about that episodes ago when they started to give the computer Zora a pronoun. I was like, it's it. Why are you naming it? Why does it have like a female pronoun? This is a little weird. You're giving it personality traits, and those traits just continue to expand and expand to the point in which it's out of control. Arium went through the academy. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand. They need to set some rules here. And the only one that I was able to relate with, and this is strange to say, is Dr. Kovic. Everyone else, I was like, even Saru, I was like, no, why are we having this conversation? Why are we listening? Just like, and
you can say, destroy it. Destroy it. Because even Arium started off as human.
Right.
Before she got the robot body, she started off as human. Mm-hmm. And I won't even say human, I'll say a living being, because like anyone could have been. Yeah. But Zora doesn't have the capacity to fully understand emotion. Like, she's just getting it. It is just getting emotion. So it hasn't had a lifetime to grow up and understand maturity, like emotional maturity and intelligence. And like right now, those are not equal for her because she doesn't know how to, she can't take her feelings out of the equation and say, okay, even though I know you, I don't want you guys to get hurt, here are the coordinates. And I shouldn't have to have a full freaking episode of hours of discussion to change your mind. That's not how this works. And she's like, okay, I give you guys a failsafe, hit it. And then Paul, why did you destroy it at the end? I was having so much hope for you, and then you destroyed the failsafe at the end. What are we doing? Why are we doing this?
Right. I mean, I'm even surprised Dr. Kovich allowed that to occur, because the failsafe for any species is to kill them. But then if the spear won't allow Discovery to delete the files, that's going to be the case for Zora as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. This is turning into a point of no return. You brought up a good point. The only way I could see hope is that, like, if she makes the ultimate sacrifice at the very end. Other than that, I'm not with you, Zora, on this ride. And I think they should have kept the failsafe.
They should have kept this. They definitely should have kept the failsafe, and I think like it should have been kept off the ship where she doesn't have access to it, because I just don't see this ending well. I really don't. And I don't know why they're trying to make all these emotional storylines when it comes to computers, but like, cut it out, Hugh. Hugh, cut it out. We're not, no, she's having memories in her subconscious. No, she's not, because she is not a she. She is an it. She is a computer. It is a computer, a computer, a computer. Yeah. That is literally getting out of control, because you're having a discussion about the fact that it's getting out of control. What are we doing? Why are we not getting this?
Yeah, how do you know she doesn't have a virus, a Trojan horse that's controlling this, and she's masking it, and it is masking it as Zora? Oh,
I don't like it, and I really hated that part of this episode. I was very much annoyed. I was like, this is a waste of a storyline for me. Like, this was such a waste of a storyline. And I think I said it last episode, that Zora was getting dangerous. Yes. Zora is getting really dangerous, and right now it's all cutesy and it's all oh, it's a new life form, and you know, because it was part of the sphere data and they connected with the computer and then all the upgrades sort of just advanced it. Oh, my little girl's growing up. No, maybe you should be a little scared that, you shouldn't have feelings. You should not care about us that way. But I do care for the crew. Yeah, that's like almost stalkerish, because you have every access to our life. You listen to everything. Now we can never talk about you or complain about you because your feelings are going to get hurt. Like, oh, what's the computer? Like, there should be a level of disconnect that's not there. And they're not, the Discovery crew is not your family, Zora. I'm so sorry. It's not. Like, it made me think of like the Nebula from Strange New Worlds that the doctor's daughter went into and had her. Like, I would be okay if Zora was expelled from the ship and became a new Nebula like that. I would be fine with that. But like, because at least it's almost going back to the data, because it's sphere data. What it was something before it got destroyed, and now it's been able to get back to it with the future matter, the programmable matter. It became a nebula again. But like this, I'm not with it. I'm not with Zora. I can't take it.
Yeah. So I like Dr. Kovich because he at least said, we're not going to whisper about this and talk, like play music and try to outsmart Zora about this. We need to talk to her and figure out what she knows about her past and how she's processing this, because with that knowledge they will be able to make a better decision. So I then became more concerned after Zora stated that she likes being seen. And I was thinking, but they use the computer all the time. Why do you feel as though you're not being utilized? And because now you want everyone to say please to you, like Michael had to state the last episode and be all nice. Sometimes you just need your computers just to do the job, not to have niceties.
Yeah. We here. Look at that, people. Our dislike of Zora is bringing us together. We're even closer. We're both dead inside on this one. But yeah, it was, and actually, I do have to say this. I do disagree a little bit. I do think Paul had the right idea of like trying to like ignore Zora or make it so Zora can't really hear them, because this could have turned into a control situation so quickly because Zora has had contact with Control or understands what Control was.
Right.
And Dr. Kovac doesn't get it. And so I viewed it as he was being very humorous of like, oh, if she goes crazy, we can get out of it. But you're literally on the ship. Like, it's one thing if you were back in headquarters talking like this, but you're on the ship with Zora.
Right.
Keep your mouth shut, because I remember Control.
Yeah.
I remember Control killing people. Like, a hole could accidentally open. She could say she would never do that and be like, and how would you know? What if you change the diagnostics to say it just accidentally happened? I had no control over it. You don't know. Don't make an enemy of a computer. They don't think like us. They don't weigh human life the same way we do. And again, I say human, but like sentient life like that. Like, you have blood and bones and whatever, because they're not all human on in Discovery.
Yeah, maybe Vance, they're going to present this up to Vance. Maybe Vance will squash all this.
One could hope. So we're nearing the end of the episode. There's still a couple more things to talk about, and that is Gray is going to Trill, because apparently it was never talked about for him to go there, which I don't understand that, because that should have been step number one. We see that Saru and the president of Navarre are flirting. Monica's very happy about it. I'm just like, please no. Like, just no. And we see that Tarek and Book, going back to our first half of the episode, they still a little portal spore drive, and they are going to destroy the DMA. Look at Book being literally the male embodiment of Michael. Literally. Like, this reminded me of episode 1.
Yeah.
Of Michael taking over the ship to attack the Klingons.
That's a good point. But she was just talking about trust and working together. That was her whole speech, was focused on that. And he didn't even really, he just left her a note and the cat and Grudge. Like, and it was a very
that's the thing. She did the same thing to the captain.
Yeah. Because
the captain, she didn't listen to the captain. The captain gave a really good speech in the very beginning. It's Starfleet, we don't do this, we don't. And it's like really, this is sort of like really remnant of season 1, episode 1, because the captain at that point Giorgio was very much, we're not going to do this. We're going to find a new way. We're going to do this diplomacy, because we're Starfleet. Blase, blase, blase. Michael's like, but I understand what you're saying, but I don't agree. You're wrong, because Klingons killed my parents, and I'm pissed. So Book can sleep. Ha! And then like, fire. No. And then Book. So now this episode, Michael's like, I understand what you're going through, because you lost your entire family and you're very hurt, but we have to do things Starfleet's way and say, we have to go with diplomacy first. And Book's like, I understand what you're saying, but I disagree. So I'm going to still and go. Ah. And it was like, literally, Michael, he is literally the embodiment of you.
I guess we see how much Michael has grown over the last.
Yes, we have seen how much she's grown because
over time.
In a sense, but yes, because there will be a time where she'd be right there with Book and his and we saw that in season 3. She was right. She got into his ship and like did something in his ship instead of a Starfleet ship. So we definitely see that she is growing in certain aspects. It's just very much showing that he's doing the same stuff that she did, and now she has to like reprimand him for it.
Yes. The reason why I mentioned Grudge is because if he's transferring Grudge from his ship to Discovery, he knows that Discovery is going to be a safer place. And I hope this is not a suicide mission for him.
I don't think he cares if it is or if it isn't.
I just hope.
Yeah. No. I hear what you're saying. I'm saying I don't think he's so angry that he's not thinking straight. And Tarek is abusing that. This episode gave me a lot of feels, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of what are you doing? And I will say, back to your original statement, I think in the very beginning, this is one of the first one that made you want to watch ahead. It made me want to watch ahead as well, because I want to see how Michael handles this. Because we could see that she was a little heartbroken when basically Book was like, you like the repercussions of our actions or something like that. And it was like, Michael, what do you think was going to happen though? Like, what do you think was going to happen when you straight up told him in front of everyone you disagree with him and you're not going to fight for him? Like, not fight for him, but fight in the way that he wants you to fight. Which, and again, Michael wasn't wrong. That was the correct way to handle this. But like, what do you think was going to happen? It was going to go bad. I'm sorry. It was.
Do you think the president of the Federation is using her?
Yes. God, yes.
Yeah.
She's her show pony.
Yeah. I don't like
and
that.
I don't know necessarily if she's using her in the sense that she doesn't like her or like she's setting her up, or more as a show pony to get more people to join. I don't know if her intent, like I don't trust her because I don't know what her intentions are, but I can't necessarily say that her intentions are nefarious in the sense that she wants to cause harm to Michael, but I definitely believe she is using Michael.
So now Michael's caught between a rock and a hard place, because she's supposed to work with the president of the Federation to prepare for first contact. But the love of Michael's life is on a rogue mission to destroy the DMA. So they're going to be in 2 different places.
No, she has to go after him. She has to stop him. Like, that's literally what's going to be her job. Her job is like, like, I bet you the president's going to like do another test and like stop him. Because only Michael's ship can ever keep up. Only Michael's ship can keep up with someone who has a spore drive. So it's only like they took a spore drive. Only Michael's ship can keep up with the spore drive.
With Paul. Because Paul can be a spore. Right.
So it's going to be Michael. And this is going to be another test. And it's not going to be a test that I don't think the president intended, but it's going to be a test to be like, are you going to put him first? Or are you going to put Starfleet first? Oh yeah, it's going to be her. It's going to be her. I don't even know if she's going to be the one who wants to do it. I can't say that, but I do believe it's going to be her.
Right. So I knew going into the season, they were setting Michael up for a captain. Now it's like, are they also setting her up for more diplomacy, more position placement in the Federation? Because there has to be other leaders there, but I guess they just don't have the dinosaur that's Discovery also has advanced technology with the spore drive. And that kind of makes her the unicorn in this. But it is a lot of weight on her shoulders, on the crew's shoulders, because they know if they jump into the DMA, they may not be able to get out.
So we don't know what's gonna happen. Any final thoughts of this episode?
My main final thought is that I don't like Tarek, and he's going to use Book just to get to his goal by any means possible. And I don't think that, as you stated, I don't think that Book has been able to use his emotion, like has been able to set that aside to focus on all species, even though he cares. You could tell when our first introduction with him, he cares about all life, but I don't think he has good judgment right now.
He does not. I agree with you. He's using him. He's using Book. He's using Book's anger and hurt to get what he wants. Okay, well, it seems like that's the end of our episode. Hopefully you guys liked it. Hopefully you don't hate us for hating Zora, because that will never change. At least for me. But as always, I'm Andrea.
And I'm Monica.
And live long and prosper.